What's going on, people? It's another episode of Get Amped. We're going to be reacting to all of the drama of the Premier League. Some pretty big results, some pretty big shocks. And then there was Liverpool. Nah, only kidding, Liverpool fans. Only kidding. Where to start? I mean, I could talk about Man City, but they're just doing what they're doing, aren't they? I could talk about Palace, but no. I'm still not over the emotions of that game, so I'll leave that well alone. Do you know what? Let's start with Chelsea, because Graham Potter, I think he might just about be getting the hang of it. Granted, it is early days, and there's still a lot of time for it to go wrong at Chelsea, because that's what they do. They hire a manager, they fire a manager. It's rinse and repeat with Chelsea. Hamza, I see you, but watershed settings, you're too young, mate. Sorry. Sorry, mate. But big up to a realist. He's saying, yo, what's up, realist? You cool? And we got AFCB Fan TV here saying Bournemouth 2-1. Indeed, Bournemouth did win 2-1. A great result for the Cherries. Actually, no, sorry. Let's start with Bournemouth-Leicester. Leicester, you knew it was too good to be true. It's all well and good. You must win, but it's the consistency. And Brendan Rodgers, yeah, I'm hoping to God next Saturday he does not get a mad one, because we play Leicester next Saturday. So hopefully he does not pull off a mad one. Obviously, I've just seen Hamza drop out there, but sorry, Hamza. 9 o'clock, watershed settings. We have to make sure that people are of age to be on Get Amped. But people, if you want to jump in and have your say on your team, the link is there already. I've already started in the chat. But yeah, let's start with Chelsea. So obviously, Chelsea, having beaten my club, Crystal Palace, last weekend, they had to play, I believe it was Southampton. I'm going to double check that now. I should know this, to be fair, but last minute call up to swap in for Rich to do Get Amped. So blame Rich, not my fault. Let's just have a look here. No, sorry, they beat Wolves. They beat Wolves 3-0 yesterday at Stamford Bridge. Solid win, really. Azpilicueta got one of their goals. Pulisic got another, and Armando Broja got the third one. Hanif, if you're lurking around there somewhere, jump in. Let's talk Chelsea for a minute, mate. But what can you say? Another routine win for Chelsea. They keep plugging along under Graham Potter, and maybe sacking Bruno Lago wasn't the answer, because let's be honest, there are more problems at Wolves than just the manager. But look, we don't make those decisions as fans, so not much else to say really about Chelsea. 3-0 win, got the job done, got the 3 points. They kept it moving. Newcastle Brentford, though, this wasn't a shock, because Newcastle, to be fair, they're building to become a team that's going to compete for the title at some point. But 5-1, wow, that's a hell of a result. Sorry, just going to. So let's see who scored here. Bruno Guimaraes got a brace. Jacob Murphy got a goal. Miguel Almiron got a goal. Ivan Toney scored against his former club, and Ethan Pinnock put the ball in his own net. But St. James's Park is not a good place to go to. It's not easy to get points there. We barely got away with a point. Shouldn't have, to be fair, but we'll take it all day long. But yeah, Newcastle 5, Brentford 1. I don't really know what else to say about that. Spurs, though. This was an interesting one, because I hate saying it, and I don't want to say it, but I had a feeling Brighton might be able to get something from this one. And 22nd minute, Harry Kane gets the goal. He does the 3 points. I think Son had a goal disallowed for offside, I believe. But what can you say? 1-0. I mean, it's nothing to go too crazy over, I guess. But that was the Brighton game. Bournemouth 2, Leicester 1, as we said. I see you there, Henry. Here, 1 second. Bournemouth 2, Leicester 1, Man City 4, Southampton 0. Yeah, kind of standard results, really. You kind of expect those. But actually, let's bring him in now. Henry. Well, if there's a way to make us sweat nerves for 90 minutes, Palace excel at it. We won't go into too much detail, because we're doing our match reaction tomorrow. But it's always Leeds. It's always Leeds at Selhurst Park where we're like, we shouldn't be losing to this rabble, but we're making them like freaking Real Madrid. I was
Yeah,
like,
made
are
it
you
look like.
serious? Are you telling me we can't beat this mob? Oh no.
Well, we did beat them,
No. But you at 1-0 down. I was looking at it going, can we string a pass together, let alone two?
mate. Yeah, I mean, the first half an hour was just complete dross. You know,
It was.
it was unbelievably poor.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me Sunderland 2016-17 vibes. That's how bad it was.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I know what you're trying to
Well,
say.
maybe bordering on it, you know.
Well, differing
Arguably,
opinions, but look, fair play. If
okay,
that's how you saw it, then
differing
fair play. But
opinions, but yeah, I think we have the same consensus. Yeah, um, yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Really, I mean, it was. I couldn't recognize the team. It was like so different from what I'd been seeing. And like literally, I was just yelling and shouting everything that you can imagine. um,
well, I
you
mean,
know,
for the
but
fans that were at the game, I don't know
I was
how
there.
they didn't burn Sellers Park down because that first half an hour, I'm not going to lie, I was thinking, I don't want to just scapegoat the goalkeeper or scapegoat this defender or scapegoat this midfielder because the whole team were a mess. But once we managed
Yeah,
to settle down, knuckle down, the second half, I could have sworn you'd think, wait a minute, did Vieira absolutely rollick them? Because it was a different
yeah,
Palace that came out the second half.
it was.
I
It
don't
was,
think
and
Leeds had a shot in the second half, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe they did. I can't
I
remember.
think they did. They had maybe two or three.
But
But yeah,
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Sheikh Doucouré was very lucky not to be sent off for that challenge. That was a bad
possibly,
one.
possibly. But then again, the amount of fouls that Leeds got away with was pretty
True, but I
staggering.
am trying to be impartial here. And I'm
Yeah,
saying we saw I think it was Sinistra get sent off for pretty much an identical foul. So I'm thinking, that's kind of a lucky one, to be honest, because he probably should have been sent off. But having said that,
maybe.
I think from that first half alone, that was probably his worst game since he's been at the club. Now, that isn't to say that he can't improve or he's not allowed to have bad games, but
Mm.
I'm not going to lie. I thought if we're not careful, we could be 2 or 3 down here. And Patrick Bamford, thank God, he reminded me why I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
Any other goalkeeper in the league knows for it. Patrick Bamford doesn't strike the fear in any goalkeeper because you're thinking he cares more about his hair than he does scoring a goal. So I'm not scared of him. And Guaita stood up to him perfectly. But
Yeah.
before we continue, we got a special best in the house. Big Tristan, what are you telling me, bro?
Yo, we said, man, you're right. Buzzing
What's
about
up,
the
Tristan?
result. You're
Brother,
right, you're right. I would put
if
my
there's
camera
one
on, but
thing
I'm just
Palace
thinking
excel
with
at,
anything,
it's
you know?
adding years to my life. I swear, no, sorry,
Literally.
taking years off my life, should I say.
Yeah.
I was swearing like a sailor at halftime. I was
Oh,
not
man,
happy.
mate.
it was awful.
Forget half
Nate,
time.
Nate Henry, that was one of the worst. Like the opening 20 minutes, it was absolutely shambolic and diabolical. We were
It
panicking,
was.
we were disorganized, we were all over the place, giving the ball away constantly. I thought the wheels were going to come off. We went 1-0 down. We should have been a goal down before that. So realistically, it could have been 2-0 inside the first 10 minutes. Bamford missed that chance, and it should have been 3-0. And we were in the bin. And then out of nowhere, we get a set piece. I was like, yeah, set piece is probably going to end up in Rose Ed's. And it was a brilliant ball in by Elise and a lovely header from Edouard.
Quality ball.
Quality, absolute quality. I didn't think Elise had the best game, but that's what he's capable of. And if he could do more of that, then we'll get a good season out of him, fingers crossed, between now and the end. Edouard seems to be hitting a little bit of form, doing a bit of an Erling Haaland, back-to-back goals in back-to-back home games, you know. So hopefully he keeps it up. Hopefully he's actually consistent, you know. Because like they say, it's all about consistency or else you don't end up with any rewards or nothing, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Tristan,
Tristan,
I hear what you're saying, but I would argue that you need to give players like Edouard a fighting chance because look, Mateta last season was the main striker. There's no question of that.
Most of the time,
he deserved it. That goal away at Millwall enough was like, okay, yeah, no, fair play. He scored a banger against Brighton. He scored a cracking goal that peed off the den. So it's like, you know what, Mateta, I got you all wrong, mate, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I've got to hold a bit of an L on that one, but the way that ball came in, I was thinking, you know what? That's a quality bit of play.
Yeah,
But
it was a good ball, I'll be
to
honest.
quickly brush away from Palace, let's talk Arsenal-Liverpool. Because, mate, I understand that Liverpool fans don't understand how frustrating VAR actually is. Now they know
You're
how
not
we
wrong.
felt when they didn't
Can I just add, before we talk about the Liverpool-Arsenal game, that Palace are currently on 9 points and Liverpool are currently on 10 points. So there's only 1 point difference between us.
Yeah. Actually, I just realised that, you know.
Yeah. No, I seen that earlier, but let's not bring Palace into this a bit much. We're going to be doing our match reaction tomorrow.
Just as a side note, but yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm trying to move away from Palace for the moment. Arsenal, Liverpool. Now, I'm not going to lie. I didn't see Arsenal winning the way they did, but credit to them. They got the job done.
Big win that is for them. Big win. They want to Champions League for the title.
They're pulling absolute bits out at the moment. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Just checking out our predictions here, folks, and boy, everybody's done quite well.
Oh, gee, I should have been involved in the predictions. It's too late now, isn't it?
About 7 points. Not bad. Not bad, you know. I mean, that's pretty decent. Sorry, folks. Just had to double check that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
But obviously, we need to talk about Liverpool because they're in trouble, big time.
Oh, they are. Nate, I'm going to tell you this year. It wouldn't surprise me before the World Cup if they were to sack Jurgen Klopp. I'd say they should do it before the World Cup because what's it? They came back after the international break and they drew with Brighton last week, conceded 3, and they've conceded another 3 today against Arsenal. And I'm not going to lie, the way the game is going, at times I thought Liverpool would go for the win, but then Arsenal just grew into the game in the second half, started, just becoming more positive going forwards, controlling the game, and Liverpool didn't really know what to do. Klopp made one of the most negative substitutions as well. He took Salah off, I believe, for Fabinho, and there was one other player that came on, but he didn't bring no attacking players on. So, yeah, I mean, I was kind of shocked when I saw that. And that was a message for Arsenal. If you're an Arsenal player on that pitch, you're looking at that thinking, yeah, Liverpool are parking the bus and just sitting back. And Arsenal took advantage of that, got in Liverpool's box, won a penalty. It was definitely a penalty, and that got the winning goal. And Liverpool just didn't really know what to do from there, to be fair, from what I saw.
I mean, it's kind of crazy that Jurgen Klopp decided to put Jordan Henderson at right wing because I was watching the watch along on Team Coppish. Shout out to the boys at Team Coppish. And to be honest, seeing their anger, I was like, do you know what? That's like us having to watch Sheikh Doucouré play right wing. It's like, what is going on? What is going on?
Why would you? Henderson has never played right wing, as far as I know.
I think he played there for Sunderland way back down in the day.
Way back in the day.
The point is what I'm saying is that you're thinking about it and you're thinking, okay, you're having to come back from behind twice against Arsenal. Pause. But surely you'd be looking at either Fabio Carvalho or Harvey Elliott.
Yeah.
You're taking off Mo Salah, who, let's be fair, had an absolute shocker.
He was
Trent
rubbish.
Had a shocker.
Trent can't defend. It's awful.
No, he can defend. It's just he's not your garden variety right back.
No, he can't defend.
He's more. I would play him more as a centre mid. He's more of a centre mid. He's not. He's
not
right back at all. He's been played out of position.
Okay. One at a time, please. I don't want to hear two people talking over each other. It's messy as hell. Tristan, you go ahead first.
Yeah, he's being played out of position. Trent. He's more of a centre mid. As a right back, he's all over the place. And teams like Brighton last week, they targeted that position, and look where it got them. They scored goals because that's Liverpool's weakness. Alexander-Arnold is a right back, and he can't defend. He can't defend as a right back, I should say. Do you know what I mean? So it's not. That's the reason why Liverpool just aren't doing that well this season. There's a few other things as well, like Van Dijk's not in form, Salah's not as good. Darwin Núñez seems to be a flop despite scoring today, but he's not as good as Haaland, if you know what I mean. So yeah, there's a lot going on at Liverpool, and they're headed in the wrong direction right now. Possibly.
I'm just going to quick before I let Henry have his say. I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
Where's the hate for Trent that there was for Wan-Bissaka? Because apparently Wan-Bissaka's not a good defender. You know what I'm saying? Agendas have to run. Henry, go ahead and big up to Hanif. What are you saying, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I'm hearing something controversial is happened in the Arsenal-Liverpool game, but these lot are going mad on Twitter, and there's hardly any evidence, and it's running a bit mad. I watched that game, and I was like, what's going on? Apart from that, it's been a good weekend of football.
Well,
It's
Henny, if you see these Liverpool fans that are going mad about the penalties and all of this, now they know how some other teams feel when shocking penalty decisions are made.
no. It's got nothing to do with that. It's there was an issue between Gabriel and Henderson. It's
Oh, yeah, I saw
it's
that.
all over
Yeah.
Twitter.
Oh yeah. I've seen that. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
look, his head. Look, Henderson lost his head. That was just ridiculous.
Because we have to ask ourselves, right? You know, we live a day and an age. Is it time to put a bit of some audio on in and around the pitch to hear what some of these men are saying? Because I was just like that incident, it just blew up, and you're just thinking to yourself, bloody hell, what's happened here? So yeah, it just I was just a bit surprised when I read about that. But you know what? It's been a decent weekend of football, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I briefly touched on your game 3-0 against Wolves. I mean, we can't really sit here and say we're shocked. I mean, Wolves are a pretty poor side. Chelsea, not necessarily at their best, but job done. 3 points, clean sheet. You've got to be happy with that.
I was happy with the performance. We were playing attacking football at home. Come all of you apart from Man City. I can't wait. We were playing decent football, and that's what it's all about. And you know, when you play teams like Wolves, you want to see a performance, and you want to see attacking football. Results can go for you and against you when you're playing good football, but you know, really happy with yesterday's performance overall, and you know, long may it continue.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about Man City, because obviously a lot of people would have backed Erling Haaland to keep breaking hat-trick records and all of this, but let's be honest, Man City didn't really have to do an awful lot. Like, let's be honest, they were in first gear, maybe second gear at a push. They were just like, listen, game's won already, don't even worry about it. They just kept it moving. It's an insult that you look at them and go, everybody else has to try and get near them. And obviously we look back at our result against them a couple of months back and you're like, I get that they're really good. No issue in losing to the better team on the day, but to be 2-0 up and throw it away like that, it's frustrating. But having said that, let's quickly go back on the Leeds Palace game, because Henry and Tristan, what have we heard for so many months now? Last minute goals scored, and we know anyone scoring the last minute goals.
Yeah.
It felt so good to see the final whistle. It's like, wait, we haven't conceded the last minute goal.
I know, it was I can't tell you how big the relief was when we had that corner in the final minutes and Eze, I thought he was going to play it short. He crossed it in the box and Leeds went down the other end of the pitch. And I swear my heart I was just like, I can't take this. If they score right now, I'm just going to lose it, because we literally had the opportunity. I know we held on, and don't get me wrong, it was great. It was great to finally see out a game. But I was just like, oh my God, if we throw this away. Because we literally had the chance right there in the corner to just kill down the time. And for some reason, we decided to put it in the box when we didn't really need to at that stage. But it was great. Great to hold
Tristan,
on.
you and I know from experience, Palace and conceding last-minute goals, it's like death and taxes. It's just a fact. It happens, and there's nothing we can do.
Oh yeah.
My biggest fear was, right, at 1-1, I was thinking, okay, it's 1-1. We probably don't deserve to be level because we've been absolutely awful. But when I found out that we'd scored for Eze, because I was desperately trying to avoid all notifications when I was watching the game on my phone. I was like, nobody text me. Nobody tell me nothing. Just leave me in the dark, because I don't want that moment to be stolen off me. And my friend who's a Liverpool fan texted me and said, oh, it's 2-1 Palace. I went, I hate you. 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 You've robbed me of the moment I want the most. But I can't lie. We needed this win going into next Saturday's game.
We desperately needed it. Desperately.
Because myself, Rich, JC, Statman Dan, we're all going up to Leicester next Saturday. And we were saying in the group chat earlier in the week, we needed a win here today to get that
Pressure
monkey
was-
off our back, because Brentford,
Yeah.
I was sickened with that last minute goal conceded.
Yeah, I was fuming. I was
Arsenal,
absolutely fuming.
Yeah.
sickened. Where else has it happened in the last couple of weeks?
Chelsea.
Liverpool,
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
That was a popular one, I'd say.
Yeah, so it's a recurring theme. But also big up to Niall Kane here, who says big up to you, mate. Hope you're well. But moving on quickly to Everton against Manchester United. Now, Alex
that's what
Iwobi
we're
gives
doing,
Everton the lead in the 5th minute. Anthony then pulls it back level, and Cristiano Ronaldo is alive. Who would have thought it? He actually is alive.
His 700 career goal, actually. That
700
was
goals,
today.
man. 700
Yeah,
goals.
fair enough.
United fans, put some respect on his name, man. He got you the winner.
Okay.
Yeah, just about. They had a goal chopped off for offside as well.
Don't worry. The United fans that are on this Ronaldo agenda, they won't pay homage to that. But listen, big up to Ronaldo for 700 career goals. Jordan has said all the fan cams from today's game are out on the channel, so be sure to check the fan cams out. There's one that was sent in the group chat, and I'm not going to lie, it had me bursting laughing on my way home. It was, something special. I'll leave it at that. But Man United got the job done. Not pretty, but if you can win and not necessarily play at your best, that's all you want. Where are the United fans, actually? I'm amazed that they haven't jumped on yet. I know Hamza tried to jump in earlier, but watershed settings. So the team got luck off, big man. But, oh, hang on. Speak of the devil. Somebody is trying to jump in. What's going on, man?
What's good? I literally just come off the Gals channel speaking about Liverpool Arsenal game. So I thought I'd hop on and speak a little bit about everything, and also about our point against top of the league, because some fans that want McSheffrey out of the club seem to forget that. So
DRFC.
Yeah, so if people aren't aware, Aaron's a big Doncaster Rovers fan. So they're down in League
I
Two.
work at a different football club as well.
Yeah, but for the moment, because DRFC people will be like, DRFC? Well, who the hell are they? No, he's a Doncaster
My
Rovers
first
fan.
guess was Doncaster Rovers.
Yeah, but so Aaron, we've just been talking a little bit about Man City doing what they do best, not even breaking a sweat and getting a win. Tottenham just about squeaked past Brighton, but it's nice to see that the new manager bounce at Brighton.
Yes, they lost
kind
for
of been
once.
halted after one game. It was like
About time. They actually lost a game of football and we won one. How incredible.
okay.
Fair play.
Okay. Well, 1 second, Henry. 1 second. But Aaron, let's talk briefly about. You've already spoken with on Igal show about Liverpool Arsenal, but the Liverpool fans saying Klopp out, I think they're rightly being a bit emotional because they've just lost. They don't like Arsenal. It's a big game. They need to be winning. So I understand that. But you're looking at it and going, the man has won you every trophy he can, bar the Europa League. You want to sack a manager who's brought success to the club. If it's Roy Hodgson or Sam Allardyce or Simon Grayson, I'd understand.
Simon Grayson. Where did that come from?
Where'd that come from, Henry? That's come from understanding that some managers play in lower league teams. Aaron, being a lower league fan, understands that Simon Grayson is like the Roy Hodgson of lower league football.
Nigel Atkins as well. Nigel Atkins is someone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah. But
yeah, it's a good point.
I understand their anger, right? Because you look at some of the decisions that Michael Oliver didn't give and you're thinking, that's a squiffy one. But having said that, how many times have people said that Liverpool got away with murder in games? So, it goes for you, it goes against you. Yes, unfortunately for Liverpool today, it went against them. But I think on the balance of play, Arsenal did deserve the win.
Yeah, they did. I think Liverpool had some spells, but not very positive, not very consistent ones. I think Arsenal were the better team. You could see the tenaciousness, you could see the link up of play, you could see the footballing brains in the side ticking and the cogs going. Trent Alexander-Arnold should have been brought off way before half-time. He just weren't at the races today at all. It's mistake after mistake. I said it on a Gal's channel. I said Trent now has to look at himself in the mirror and think, right, am I going to keep papering over cracks, keep putting in these patchy performances and just keep earning a wage every week, or am I going to actually look at myself, look at what I need to improve on, look at my team cohesion and work and improve on my team cohesion and my team sort of morale as a player and what I can do to improve that, and actually work on it in training this week and actually earn a wage this week. So this is Trent's sort of big rocky patch in his career, his sort of first major rocky patch in his senior career. So for me, he has to look at that and he's going to decide now whether he is a top player and improves on that, or he wants to stay rocky and have a rocky career. It's all on Trent now. It's not on anyone else, not on the owners, not on manager. It's not on other players. It's on himself to improve on himself. Same with other players. Anderson need to improve. I think this season, Milner's been awful at times this season. I think that Salah feels like another Ozil situation now, where he's just signed a big contract and he's just fallen off the pace. You know, Salah now needs to decide whether he actually wants to play football or sit with about a few £100,000 a week playing Dead by Daylight every week instead. You know, is this going to be another Ozil situation?
Sorry, Aaron, 1 second. Jordan says Trent can still go uni. It's the best option for him. All right, JC, I see you in the group chat as well, you know. But, yeah, no, so big up to Ree. She did a fantastic job editing all the fan cams after today's game. So be sure to check them out on Eagle Eyed Football afterwards. Hanif, I know we've kind of been a bit too quiet there for you, mate. But I know being a Chelsea fan, you hate seeing Arsenal do well. You were probably banking on a Liverpool win. But what did you make of the game today?
Hey, Arsenal who? For 25 years, for 20 odd years, we've been running London. We've been the champions. These guys are nothing. It took them to listen, Nate. You know as well as I do. When the car crashes, these guys are gonna need psychological help. They're playing well. I'm not gonna say they're not. I call a spade a spade. This is probably their best period. But we all know, right, what their weaknesses are. Their weaknesses are injuries, couple of injuries to their core players. Then we will see if this Arsenal team really has the grapefruits to get through games, to win games, to carry on. But you have to give respect to them. I've always said I always respect what Mikel Arteta has done. I've stood up more for Mikel Arteta than Thomas Tuchel because I could see what my man was doing. And you have to trust the process. It's a bit like Patrick Vieira coming in and the media was against him. With Arsenal fans, the fans were against him. Last season, Arteta out. Season before, oh, he's crap, Arteta out. I'm like, listen, you guys are mad. If you guys, if you have a football club that's a mess, how are you going to fix it? By hiring and firing managers. Your situation is completely different to United's and Chelsea's situation. You need stability. You need longevity. You need to be patient. That is something that Arsenal fans do not have. I think they'll go off the rails if they lose 2 in a row. That I know for a fact.
Well, I look at Donny Rovers as the same as Arsenal, where I'm seeing people after 10 months of McSheffrey in Chelsea saying McSheffrey get out of our club, and then 3 minutes later singing McSheffrey is our king when we've equalised against top of the league, and then by the end of the game they're still singing McSheffrey get out of our club, and I'm like, calm it. 4 managers in 18 months. We can't keep sacking managers. We've got to have longevity. We've got to stick with a man. So it was a surprising one for me. But you know what? I'm glad Arteta got the win today because I think not only did he need that to bring more of the doubters back into the fan base, because let's face it, they weren't real fans, but they've also brought even more positivity to the season because, like I said, they got more football brains than they had a few years ago with the likes of Mustafi and Louise and Ozil at times. So, you know, they've got more tenaciousness and football brains, and they've got longevity in their squad. Look at the
You didn't have to disrespect David Luiz like that, though. We didn't need to disrespect him. For Chelsea, he was all right. We won stuff with him. It's not my fault.
For Chelsea, he was all right, but I think for Arsenal, he was earning a wage. That's all he was doing at Arsenal.
The thing is this, that's up to Arsenal. That's on how you run. What do you think these footballers are there for? They're there to earn money. It's as simple as that. If you're going to pay them stupid money, they're going to come, aren't they? But ultimately, look, you give respect where respect is due. They played well today. There's no doubt about it. However, we have to be fair now I will give you my account. There were 2 big decisions that went for Arsenal. And Arsenal Football Club should not be talking about decisions anymore and decisions going against them. Gabriel's handball That is one big decision that went for
No,
them.
that wasn't
And
handball.
That wasn't
no,
handball.
that's your opinion.
No.
That's your opinion. That's your
I don't think
opinion.
I don't
And
think so.
secondly, the ref didn't see or ignored. Well, we'll go with didn't see. That's a bit. Tierney's foul on, I don't know which Liverpool player it was, but Tierney's foul. He fouled a Liverpool player. He missed the ball, caught the player clean. I saw it and I'm shocked that that wasn't forget the referee. It should have been reviewed by VAR and it wasn't. And I'm telling you, when you look back at that game and you look back at that decision, I couldn't believe that the second one should definitely have gone to VAR. And I think Arsenal, they'll be counting their lucky stars with that second decision because you know what, it went for them. However, they got the job done. It was a
That's
good
the
game.
thing, though.
But
and
Would
don't
big
you
up
the
to
think
them.
it's-
Would the Tierney foul change the result? I don't think so.
Yeah, because it was 3-2, I believe, at the time. It was in it was in Arsenal's penalty box. So
Yeah, it was 3-2
highly
at the
likely
time
it would have.
finished 3-2, so
Highly-
it would
Wait,
change the result.
wait.
Highly likely it would have, because it would probably
Wait.
would have 9 times out of 10 they would have scored from the penalty spot.
Hanif, are you talking about when Harvey Elliott went down from a slight touch of Tierney?
It wasn't a slight touch, Nate. It was a slight touch at all. Because if you look at Arsenal got Arsenal's penalty, you could argue that was soft as well. There are arguments to be had. I'm not saying the officiating was great today. However, I thought Kieran Tierney was very lucky that he didn't give a penalty. I thought that was much worse than which player conceded the penalty for Liverpool. I can't remember which defender
I
it
think
was.
it was Kanate, I think, or was it?
Yeah, I think it was Canato.
So if you look at that one and then look at what Tierney did, I'm just being fair. I think if you look at both of them, I think the Tierney one is much more of a penalty than the one that Liverpool conceded. However, decisions go for you, they go against you. Arsenal got the win, and you know Liverpool are suffering now as a result of not buying midfielders. Wijnaldum not being replaced.
No, the one thing I will get is Liverpool right now are at the start of their second rebuild under Jurgen Klopp. It's like Arteta. They're going to have to take the bumps on the road. I get the frustration around Jurgen Klopp. The problem is now some Liverpool fans will use the referee and the whole decisions and whatever as an excuse. Not every Liverpool fan, but some will use it as an excuse to camouflage over what they've needed the whole summer, which was a new midfield. And it was a new long-term midfield because you can't be relying on Henderson and Milner and as well as the rest of them. You can't rely on a prime to aging midfield that's only going to be around for a couple of years to carry you through the next 6 years. You can't do it. So what Liverpool fans need to be doing now is backing the manager and backing him through another rebuild, because that's what Arteta and the fans, that's what some fans have done with Arteta.
It's not as simple as that, though. If you watch Liverpool's,
the manager and
the owners will not back the manager, though. Only with one player every summer. That's the problem.
Well, that's what I mean.
That's why they're not happy.
Well, that's what I mean. The owners now need to go and back the manager with more than just one player. If they don't do that and Klopp walks out or Klopp comes out and speaks about it, then the fans pressure the owners and get them out the club. That's when you turn on the owners. Because if you've seen evidence that they don't back the manager with a full rebuild, then you turn on the
I think
on
it's
the
clear.
owners.
I think it's clear, mate. I think it's clear. And with Liverpool, since Lallana left, which was 3 years ago, they never replaced Lallana with that. And they've got some decent midfielders, to be fair to them, but they're all injury prone. Oxlade-Chamberlain, good player, injury prone. Naby Keita,
they're either injury prone or going past the best.
I don't think we've ever seen Naby Keita's best because he's always injured. But when you don't give
Henderson's getting to that point, unfortunately, which is sad because
Henderson's past him, mate. Henderson's finished.
I'm surprised Henderson's still getting selected for the England squad.
I'm telling you right now, Henderson's done.
I feel sorry for Jordan because Jordan will always be a legendary English midfielder in the Premier League. He'll always be a Premier League legend in this modern era.
Yeah, but
unfortunately, he's past it.
Why is Henderson done? I mean, I know he's having a rough time right now, but this guy has won big things with Liverpool. We're 8 games into the season, and like people are saying, "Oh, he's done. He's rubbish. He's past it." Like,
Henry, go
I wouldn't
speak to
say he's
Liverpool
rubbish,
fans
at least
about
give
that.
him.
He's
I feel
he's
like fans
average
are
at
too.
best, Henry. He's average at best, and that's
But
and that's the
what?
problem.
If
Is
he's
this
average,
you're
yeah,
looking
but
back at what
mate,
he's won,
No, I
but
mate,
wouldn't
if
say
when
he's
you're
he's
average at
average. I
best,
wouldn't say
what
he's
can you say?
average.
What did
I'd
he do
say
today? What
what
did he
I,
do today? Not much. He was poor.
what I
We
don't
have
know,
to be
but
honest.
Okay,
You have to
okay.
call a
One
spade a
second,
spade.
all
one
right,
second, 1 second.
let me talk, mate. Come on.
All right, Henry, calm it. It's all good.
No, I'm not. I'm fine. Yeah. So, yeah. Where do we go
Right.
from here?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so
it's like,
Henry. Okay, Aaron, 1 second. Hanif was asking you, why do you not think Henderson's finished? You were asking how is
Oh
Henderson
yeah,
finished, right?
yeah. I
You
don't
have
think
to
Anderson's
understand. 1
finished.
second. You have to understand. People are saying that because Liverpool fans watch him week in, week out. Liverpool have still yet to buy midfielders that can actually take the pressure off Henderson, off Milner. They're playing players well into the advanced ages of their careers. It's like us trying to bring out James MacArthur at 38, expecting him to be a 28-year-old midfielder. Henderson is by no means a bad player, but considering Liverpool's owners have continuously tried to draw blood from a stone and hope to God it pays off, Liverpool fans are looking at it and going, Arsenal are strengthening, City are strengthening, United are strengthening, Chelsea are strengthening, Everton are strengthening, even clubs that they wouldn't even remotely consider on their radar
Brighton.
strengthening. If you put, for example, Sheikh Doucouré in Liverpool's midfield, that takes a wave of pressure off of Jordan Henderson. Is Doucouré Liverpool material? I don't know. He'd have to play there and see how he gets on in a Liverpool shirt, if he can handle playing for the weight of that shirt. What Hanif was trying to say is, you've every right to believe he's not washed up, and he's by no means finished. But at 32, 33, he really should be a squad player at Liverpool, but he's still playing as if he's still in the prime of his career.
I think
that's-
Liverpool's
I
not got
get
enough
that,
competitive
but, like-
squad depth. I think that's where Liverpool are lacking. I think they haven't got enough competitive squad depth. Let's say, for example, Liverpool actually spent money and actually put a decent price tag in for a midfielder like a Tielemans or a Guimaraes or someone like that, or even someone from the other leagues out in Europe, someone who would compete as a first-team starter and put the pressure on Henderson and Milner to actually either improve or fall in the pecking order. And again, you've got those longer-term players coming up through the academy as well. Liverpool need competitive squad depth. Otherwise, their average players that are past their prime are going to look like the only option. Because look at the midfield. Arthur Melo is injured until 2023. They have got one less player in that position now, which means if their aging players start getting injured or they start getting low on fitness, they're going to have to rely on the academy to fill them out of a hole. And some of those lads may not be ready for first team football yet.
They tried that with Curtis Jones, and he can't get a look in.
Exactly. They can't do
forgot
that
about
again.
him.
And again, it will fall on the owners because they didn't back the manager with a proper second rebuild, because that's the main thing keeping Klopp here for the next 6 to 8 years. If they don't back him, if Klopp sees an opportunity to go to a proper project, he'll walk, and you can't blame him. And the fans will turn on the owners. It's that simple.
I don't see Klopp leaving.
If they haven't turned already, because I know some fans have probably turned already.
Can I come in on what Henry's just said?
Go on then.
Right. What happened at Dortmund? Remember what happened at Dortmund when he lost his best players? They finished, what was it, 10th? I can't remember.
Like
I'm saying 10th, but it was pretty low down. And if they don't back him, he's gonna walk.
I'm not
He's
saying
gonna walk
Klopp
because
won't
they're
leave
not.
Liverpool. I'm saying
Nah,
if
he
does
will,
go,
bro,
he'll
because
be...
the fans
No,
will push him out.
wait,
Henry,
wait,
it
let me
doesn't
finish.
work like that.
Wait a moment.
Please. I'm not saying he won't leave. I'm saying if he does go, he'll be pushed. I can't see him leaving of his own accord.
I agree.
No, the fans will not be happy with it, mate. They're already saying it, Henry. That's what I'm saying to you.
Yeah, but that's
because
my point.
some of these
he'll
players,
be sacked. He won't leave on his own accord. He'll be sacked.
No, I'm not. He will be sacked. But the thing is this: they need to keep that guy there for as long as they can because he's one of the best managers in the world. But the problem is it's his playing style. If he has to adapt his whole system now in order to get the best out of Henderson and these guys, because the way he would like to play you need to be super fit to play like that for the whole season. That's why players like Wijnaldum, who they didn't value highly enough, like Salah, why do you think he was asking for more money? My man was fit week in, week out, running like a dog, up and down, and he wanted top dollars, and he deserved it because he won with them. He played his role.
He was a top player, to be fair.
To be fair, there is players in that Liverpool squad that I'm still wondering why the hell they're still there. And unfortunately, Oxlade-Chamberlain falls into that category. Milner falls into that category, and a few other players fall into that category.
I'm just going to say on Liverpool quickly, just to move on, because I don't want this to become World War III. They've chosen to get rid of Divock Origi. That was a brain dead move, because if you have to bring on someone to play on the wing, having lost. Who was it? Diaz went off.
Mane.
Right? And you that and going.
Oh, sorry. Today, yeah.
Right. No. Look, getting rid of Mane. Look, the minute Bayern sold Lewandowski, Mane's move to Bayern was already written. So
yeah, I knew deep down Liverpool were going to make one major sell this summer. I just didn't know at the time before it was pretty much confirmed whether it was going to be Mane, Salah, or Firmino.
But I'm not going to lie, right? Nunez has come in for an awful lot of stick off rival fans, noodles, this, that, the other, red, tear, the whole lot.
Rightly so.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
It was all right today.
No, I think Nunez just hasn't got the players around him to get the best out of him.
Aaron, you literally just said what I was going to say. What I would say, though, is, look, anyone who watches Liverpool can see that they've recruited very smartly the last couple of years. But unfortunately, they overexposed their link to Southampton. The pipeline of Southampton got blocked because Van Dijk, Klein,
I'm just surprised they haven't got Ward-Prowse yet.
Sorry?
I'm surprised they haven't got Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're signing players and then they're just signing someone.
He would fit that team.
I mean, he would get in that team, though, to be fair. That's the
would.
He would. He'd fit that team.
Well, Prowse. Oh yeah, he would definitely.
Yeah. He'd be the sort of set piece specialist that you would trust to get the best out your set pieces, and he'd have a real proper role in that team, and that's unfortunately where Liverpool are at this stage.
Okay, 1 second. So just big up to Manj, who's kind of trying to troll the Liverpool fans here. He said Liverpool in the mud. Hold that. Coco collapse. Run out of inhalers. Darwin nonsense.
I'm going to remember that.
James Ward-Scouse. That could be a
Ward-Scouse and Darwin.
You get to January transfer window. You get to January window.
Whoa. Pause. Say that again.
Why is it zoomed on me? I don't get it.
Because you just put on a mad Scouse accent. Say that again.
I did. James Ward-Prowse, lad. James Ward-Scouse.
Oh my word.
Don't do that again, please.
I said it. January window. Look, sign Ward-Prowse.
One second. Rich here is saying, pick up everyone. There's a possible investigation of racism.
What?
With Jordan Henderson.
Oh,
that's
what it was between him and Gabriel. Jesus Christ.
Now listen, because remember, Gabriel was moving mad when that whole thing was kicking off. So I think there's a possibility that Jordan Henderson may have said something in the heat of the moment.
Oh God, please no. Please.
Someone's getting cancelled.
Please no.
Listen, let's wait for the evidence. We can't say anything yet. We've got to wait for
100%. Listen, this is only a rumor. We do not know if this is true or not. We're not remotely trying to imply that Henderson has said something racist. You know, it's all over social media, but remember, social media likes to lie.
Yeah, of course.
How many times have you heard, if you're looking at your club's transfer news and you look at an ITK, Joe Bloggs is signing for Donny Rovers, it's a done deal. Next week, he ends up at bloody Sheffield United. He was coming to Keepmoat a second ago. Why is he up at Bramall Lane?
Something was said. No matter what it was, something was said.
Oh, something was said 100%. But sorry, Aaron, we haven't given you a platform to talk about your team. So Doncaster Rovers. Obviously, the ambitions would be to try and get back out of League Two, because you're in League Two, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Doncaster Rovers have always struck me as a club that you've built a stadium with Premier League ambitions, but not necessarily a Premier League plan in place. So Talk to us about the game. How did it? Who were you playing, and how did the game pan out? So, who were you playing first?
We were playing Leighton Orient. They were top of the league at that time, managed by our former manager Richie Wellens, who got sacked after the first 6 months of last season. So he sort of came back to try and prove a point. I think a win would have taken us into the playoffs. A point would have put us within touching distance. And obviously, Leighton Orient wants to keep that sort of lead at the top and bounce back from a defeat against Newport in the midweek. We had to bounce back from a defeat against Hartlepool, who hadn't won in 20 games. So that was a bit of an embarrassing one, but we had to put that aside and get something out of the game. First half was all Orient. Couldn't even string a few passes together. It was poor. Chance from the fans of Gary McSheffrey get out of our club. In my head, I was thinking, God, this is just going to get nasty into it. Then there's just chorus of boos at half time. Don't get me wrong, the goal from Leighton Orient before half time was a good goal. It was a brilliant goal, brilliant finish. Just flicks it up and just overhead kicks it into back at net. But the marking on the goal, the fact there's 3 unmarked players in the box and not one of them's being picked up, and he just allowed the space to just flick it up off the ground and then just kick it on the second touch. So you hear the chorus of boos at half time. And second half, we made 3 changes, which shows that the changes in the first half didn't work. So we make 3 subs at half time. We come out a little bit better. The last half an hour was probably the best spell. We got our goal and we look better. But even during 1-1, when we equalise, I'm hearing fans still chant, "Sat the board, McSheffrey out." It's a really we're starting to see that toxic atmosphere from last season all over again. I said after the match, I'm sick of the speculation about the manager now. I don't want to get involved in speculation about the manager now. Let's just look at the bigger picture. We've now jumped up a place to 8th. We're a point outside the playoffs. We're 4 or 5 points off the top 4. It's still 30 odd games left at season. Just we may not be playing amazing football. Not one team's come out of the stadiums and said we've played amazing or played even well. But let's just see where we are in the new year, because we might be in the top 4 come the end of the new year. And again, I'll come back to that point. We can't keep sacking managers because we've had 4 managers, including the current one, in the space of 18 months. We can't keep sacking managers. We've got to have some kind of longevity and stability about it. And if that means sacrificing the low blows to get long-term highs, then that's what we've got to do. And even the assistant manager came up to me the morning of the game before the game and said, "Look, you tell some of the fans to stop speculating about the manager because it's just creating a negative vibe." And I agree with him. I agree with him. As much as people want him to go and that, I don't want him to go, but I know a lot of people want him to go. It creates a toxic atmosphere that we saw last season, and it's like you said, point against top of the league. They're not top of the league anymore, so we got revenge on our old manager. We've jumped up a place, and take the last half an hour and build that going into Carlisle at the weekend. So, I get fans' frustration, I get fans' opinions, but for me, it's just building on the manager and see where we go, because who's out there right now financially that we can afford as a new manager? So, there's not many options out there that will actually come to us. So we've got to just stick with McSheffrey and see what happens.
Can I,
How good's your team?
Sorry.
How good is your team? Like, do you think they're good enough to get promoted, or do you think where the fans' expectations are just way higher than the players that you've got at the club?
The squad's definitely, minimum playoffs. We've got Tommy Rowe, we've got Adam Clayton, we've got Roshan Williams, Joe Olowu, we've got George Miller up front, we've got Max Walton on loan from Liverpool. He was on the bench in the Champions League 12 months ago. We've got a minimum playoff squad. We had Lee Tomlin, who's now retired. Best of luck to Lee Tomlin in his retirement. We've got a squad that's minimum playoffs, minimum top 7 squad.
So,
You know,
so
I've seen
you're
I've
there
seen
or thereabouts, then, aren't you? You're basically
Yeah.
where you should be.
Exactly.
So why
It's
why
like
do they why
some
do they
people are expecting us to win the league. I'm like, no, we're not going to win the league. I predicted us to finish third place, but that's just optimism. I expect us to finish in the playoffs.
so how come you're saying the fans, a lot of them want the manager out? And admittedly, I don't know much about Doncaster, but from what I've heard from you and looking at the League Two table, you're 8th in the league, level on points with Bradford City and Carlisle. So that would be, you know, on par with the playoffs virtually. So why is it? Is it the style of play? Like why do you think the fans are angling for the manager's head?
Some of it is the style of play. I think it's also the defeats that we've had this season. I think it's the manner of the defeats and the way we've lost, because some of the defeats, it could have been more than 2 goals or 1 goal. It should have been 3, 4, 5. And like even the spells in games, like we've not come out and been the better team for 90 minutes in any match. We've always had at least a spell or a half where we've struggled. And the style of play as well. Most of the time,
What's his style of play?
Well, most of the time it's been 1-2, 1-2, sideways back, hoof it long ball, and try and get ahead on it, which we've barely done. But the best football we've played is when we've put 2 people up front and we've actually played it more on the ground. And I think someone tweeted during the game, Molineux keeps getting passes over like route 1 from the back. But the minute someone passes it along the floor to him, that's where he's more effective, Luke Molineux. So, you know, the floor stuff is where we've been most effective. And surprise, surprise, we've got the best out of that kind of style. So I think at times McSheffrey still doesn't know his own style, which, you know, it's his first full season in management, senior management. He's been caretaker for the first 6 months. He needs time to bed in. He needs time to learn. Paul Warren was caretaker and became permanent at Rotherham in 2017. 6 years later, he's just left Rotherham, who were in a good spot in the Championship, to go manage Derby, who've just been taken over. So give the manager time and he can build something around it. It's just, you just got to take the lows with the highs.
No, it's true, man. I agree. I think it's this new age of social media that's done this to football clubs and football managers.
Our fan base is the worst for it. You've literally got people. We beat Crawley 4-1 about a week ago. The first half we were 50-50. Second half much better and absolutely pummeled Crawley. And fans are still saying McSheffrey out after a 4-1 win.
Yeah,
It's just
that's weird. That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
And like I said, the first half we struggled. We struggled. Second half we pummeled them. But most of them were coming. Most of the fans that were McSheffrey out were coming out saying, "Oh, I don't care our style. We ain't got no style. The first half confirmed it for me. Sat the ball McSheffrey out. This, that, the other." And I'm like,
yeah.
It's like every Rovers. It's like Rovers fans on Twitter are expecting us to go and get a bid from Qatar to buy the club, and we're expecting Ronaldo to sign on a celebrity contract. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
He's saying that.
So are you optimistic about the season? Like, do you think you can get
I'm not
promotion?
optimistic. I'm just sort of. I would be happy if we finished 7th, or I would be happy if we finished 8th, but just outside on goal difference or a point, because at least it shows that we've got. I know it's League 2. That's not the league people think we should be in. We should be apparently in League 1 and Championship and all that lot. But the consistent history of Doncaster Rovers has been mainly the 3rd and 4th divisions. So right now we deserve to be where we deserve to be. Should we aim for better? Yes. But right now we deserve to be where we deserve to be. And we can only move forward if we can get it right. And it's going to take time.
Yeah.
Aaron, if Donny finished 7th, that's playoffs. So if you get 7th, that's fantastic.
We've done our job. We've done our job.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I think, look, modern football fans outside of the Premier League, when you're in the Football League, if you win 2 games, all right, wicked. You're banging form. Everything's going great. You're loving life. When you lose 2 games, oh, we're getting relegated. The world's going to end. Everything's gone to crap. Get the manager out. The whole lot of it. I can remember when the season we got promoted, we had to beat Peterborough on the last day to just stay in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And prior to that, obviously there was a very painful 3-0 defeat to Brighton on St. Patrick's Day. But to be fair, they were the better side on the day. I hate admitting it, but I'll be real. There were games in that run of barren results. I was like, we were poor. I don't understand the logic of people complaining when the team were poor. People want to see the team do well, but aren't prepared to accept the team were poor. Like today, Palace won the game, but I don't remotely think we were the better side until the second half.
We
When
were.
they actually turned up, I was
100%.
thinking,
But you still
But-
believe in the manager.
it's not
But
even about the
also-
manager, because reality is we've had Sam Allardyce, Roy Hodgson, Frank de Boer,
Alan Pardew.
Tony Pulis, Alan Pardew, Neil Warnock,
Warnock.
Ian Holloway, even Keith Millen has had a dig at it.
Tony Pulis.
Already mentioned
Yeah.
Tony Pulis.
Yeah, he
So-
said that.
But the manager is literally just the link between the club and the players. If the players on the pitch, they need to do the job. There's been players wearing the Palace shirt in years previous. I've said not worth wearing the shirt. But when those players turn up for the big moments and score massive goals, for example, Bakary Sacco used to frustrate the living daylights out of me every single week. I was looking at him going, you're literally a brick, pardon my French, shithouse. Yet you'll fall into the floor like you've been shot. Mate, get up. Then you look at Fraser Campbell, who must have been born offside. Because he was the definition of frustration.
I hope his mum's
So-
not listening to this.
Huh?
I hope his
Jesus.
mum's not listening to this.
I'll tell you this though. I'll say this. There was one player that was offside in one game about 5 times. Was it Bashiwai? He got loaned. The amount of times this guy was caught offside just shows how lazy he was and the lack of.
Mate, do you remember
concentration.
Papa Soare as well?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember him. Yeah, he was a brilliant player until he got
Pat
injured.
Suarez.
Yeah, I remember him. Good
What a
player, man.
player.
Loyal.
That ball for Wickham's goal in the FA Cup semi-final will stay
Oh,
with me.
I
Class.
always remember that. Great header as well.
Pop. And do you know what made it even sweeter? You could just hear the Watford fans' hearts breaking at Wembley again.
It's like that moment. It's like that moment on that episode of The Simpsons with Lisa and Ralph. You can pinpoint the second. his
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I think we've pretty much covered everything, unless somebody wants to have their say on something. So,
Fair play to Bournemouth.
Yeah,
you want
fair
to
play
talk
to
about
Bournemouth.
I'll tell you what,
Yeah,
Gary
Bournemouth,
O'Neill.
brilliant.
Gary
Doing a
O'Neill's got
stellar
a
job.
decent chance of getting the job. I
think
think
he
Gary
will get the
O'Neill's
job.
got a decent chance.
I
My
don't see
worry-
no one else linked with it at the moment.
Well, there was previous links with someone who was linked to the Brighton job from, I think it was either Denmark or Norway, Knud Knutsen. I think Knud Knutsen, I think he was linked with it at one point. But I'll tell you what, my worry with Gary O'Neill, though, if he gets the job permanently, will it be one of those things where he gets the contract and the honeymoon period's over from the bounce?
Yeah,
That's
like
my only
Solskjaer.
worry. But I think I've seen enough of Gary O'Neill to suggest that he deserves a shot at being interviewed for the job. I think there's nothing to deny that. I would also look at the other side of it, and I'd like to see some fresh ideas to really bulk up. I mean, Bournemouth's just got a massive new takeover finalised. So, Bournemouth are going to be in an interesting position now where do they appoint Gary O'Neill, or does the new takeover look and say, fresh new ideas, fresh new look of it from the outside in, and just go new era, bang, stay up for the rest of the season and build from there. It's going to be an interesting watch for the new owner. And to be fair, I did do some research on the new Bournemouth owner, and I think the good thing about him, I know there's been a lot of criticism over American owners in the Premier League, and some being better than others. The thing I like about this guy is he will spend loads of money, but he will spend it to get success. He wants success out of the teams that he owns. He doesn't want to do it for a profit. He wants success. And I think that's a good thing to have for Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth could be entering a really exciting era.
You say that, but unfortunately for Bournemouth, FFP is going to massively limit what they can spend. Because bear in mind, they've got the smallest ground in the Premier League. It's like 11,000, which is unheard of for the top flight of English football.
Well, to be fair, the new owner might have some exciting plans. They might have some really exciting plans as to where the club could go.
Maybe so, but we've seen this before. We've seen this before with a lot of teams where They bring out exciting new plans for a stadium. We're one of them. We're still trying to get the main stand rebuilt at Selhurst Park. I think I'll be 66 by the time they build it, possibly 96 by the time they build the bloody thing. Because we're arguing between a row of houses, a supermarket, all for the sake of just building a little bit of a bigger stand. It's just like, you know what? We may as well get Boris to do it because he literally could do a better job than these hammerheads that are trying to run the project themselves. It's honestly the most frustrating thing ever. And what really irritates me about it is we had the alternative of going back to Crystal Palace in 2011, and Bromley Council were like, no, we don't want a football club in our local area. So you don't want a boost of 40 odd million in your local economy.
But you can't leave Selhurst Park, man.
But no, on the other side of the Bournemouth game,
one second. Henry.
Yeah.
What can we do at Selhurst Park, though? We're not blessed for space.
Well, eventually it's going to happen, surely. I mean, what I heard today, right? I don't know if it's true. It kind of sounds a bit far-fetched, but I heard that apparently, like, there's a lot of people agreeing to being rehoused and stuff because obviously they have to build where people's houses are. And apparently there's one guy who just refuses to sell his or move from his house, and apparently that's what's the stumbling block. I don't know how true that is, but that's something I've heard. But no, I feel like I don't think it is,
because the thing is, 5 of the 6 houses in the way are owned by the council.
Yeah, and there's the one that is
overrule the vote.
Well, I don't know what's happening, but I feel like the Crystal Palace's soul is at Selhurst Park, and if we take that and uplift it and go to Crystal Palace, the actual area, I feel like that wouldn't sit right with me, at least, to be honest.
You say that, but realistically, we'd be going back to where the club was founded. So technically speaking, it's going back home.
I guess.
Also, I see what you're saying about Selhurst Park is home, but look at the lack of space we have to rebuild Selhurst Park. We have literally no space to do anything. Let me finish.
Yeah, we don't. Sorry.
Let me finish. 1 second.
All right.
We have no space to rebuild the Arthur. There's little we can do with the White Horse Lane, and the Homestead is already rebuilt to a modern-ish kind of setting. So realistically, I get it. Look, I'm all for staying at Selhurst Park, but I'm of that opinion where if there's space at the National Sports Centre, why not use it? It's not exactly being used every bloody week, is it? But look, Henry, go have your say. Sorry, go have your say.
No. I mean, I just feel like with the fact that the club has played there, I believe, since 1920, I think the ground is unique in terms of it's probably the one ground in the country, and I might sound biased here, but I think it's the one ground in the country that really feels proper traditional old school, but at the same time it's modern enough, you know, and it has been redeveloped a lot. Okay, it hasn't been expanded, but there's been a lot of renovations to it, and I just feel like the future should be built around Selhurst Park. I mean, if it continues forever and it, you know, if the main stand is never going to be built, then I feel like maybe moving is up for discussion. But I just feel like it would be a big change, and a lot of fans would have differing views on it. And if we did move to a different stadium and things weren't to go too well, like what West Ham did, then, I mean, obviously I know West Ham is different, but I just feel like it's a big call.
Yeah, I totally get that. Just quickly back on the Bournemouth game, on the other side of it, from the Leicester side of it. Look, I know Leicester bounced back with that 4-0 win over Forest on the Monday, but ultimately they did bottle the lead. Bournemouth showed more fight in the game. And does this keep Brendan Rodgers under pressure? Of course it does.
Definitely.
You know, there's no getting away from it. You know, Brendan can try all he wants, but it won't get away from it. Brendan's under considerable amount of pressure because the weird thing is, and I think I sort of thought about this even before the Forest game. Leicester, I think, are in a situation where Bolton were about 10 years ago. They're in a position where they can't afford to get relegated because they've got players on such high wages and their wage bill could be getting slashed, which means a huge rebuild to adapt to the Championship and make sure their finances aren't fucked. So I think Leicester are in a similar situation to Bolton, where they've spent big over the last few years, don't get me wrong, but I think they're in a situation where they cannot be relegated from the Premier League because they could be in a whole heap of trouble and could even, and I don't want to, confirm this or anything like that at this stage because it's too soon, but if they get relegated and don't adapt to the wage bill of the Championship and can end up with a load of high debts, Leicester could end up back in League One. It could literally be as bad as that. But I'm hoping it's not the case. I'm hoping it's not the case because the owners are better this time around. So I'm hoping the owners know what they're doing here.
I mean, look, provided that he doesn't get sacked before next Saturday, I don't care. Because all I want to see when I get off that plane on Friday evening is he's still their manager. We get the result at the King Power on the Saturday afternoon, get on the train back down to London, have a few beers. I can look forward to celebrating my birthday next Tuesday, not this Tuesday coming, but next Tuesday. I can go, beat Leeds, possibly beat Leicester, hopefully beat Wolves.
I think you lose to Leicester.
Oh, wow.
What, you think Palace lose to Leicester?
No, I don't think Palace will lose to Leicester. No,
no.
The reason I
if
said
Leicester's at home, I think they'll beat you.
No, I fancy us to beat them
well,
away.
That's
Hanif, one second. I understand what you're saying, but they're doo-doo. Let's be real. Like, it's taking them.
Do not underestimate the opposition. That's what Man United did with Sheffield United, who were at the bottom of the table. Just remember that. You don't underestimate your opponents. I go into every single game. I go into every single game and say, listen, this is going to be a tough game. Our boys have got to turn up. If they don't turn up, we lose.
No,
that's my mindset.
I hear that. But look, I'm only judging them on what I've seen. One win out of 8 doesn't make me think, okay, look, yes, they've got good players. But at the same time, why are they in that position? Because let's be real.
If you were at home, you're stronger. If you were at home, you're stronger. You could probably get away with that. But when you're away from home,
at home aren't strong though. They've won one game against a very, very disjointed, newly formed Nottingham Forest team.
Did you say they won that game at home, Henry?
They did. They beat Nottingham Forest 4-0 at home. Leicester.
All right. So when you look at it,
but that's Nottingham Forest.
The tide turns on to my side, doesn't it? Because if that's their last game that they've won at home, that means they've won at home. Then they've won a game at home.
The difference is that they played Nottingham Forest and not Crystal Palace.
What's that got to do with anything? It's a Premier League team.
But Nottingham Forest haven't been in the Premier League for like 20-something years, and we've been in it for the last 10. And we
doesn't matter. Huddersfield Town somehow, some way survived in the Premier League for a year. Listen, telling you, you can't underestimate them.
I agree. I know. I agree with you. We can't underestimate them, but at the same time, I do think that we should be beating them.
And if I say this, they failed to beat at home Brentford, Southampton. Granted, yes, they have beaten Nottingham Forest. Yes, they lost to Man United at home as well. To be fair, Man United, they're a half decent side. I know what you're saying. We can't underestimate Leicester, but let's just say they underestimate us because we've got a decent record at the King Power.
Yeah. What I'd love to happen is, like, I remember a few years ago when we beat Leicester and Claude Puel got sacked the next morning or something.
Well, I know what you're saying, but I think that was. Well, we at home. I think we were at home because we battered them 5-0. I know what Hanif's saying, and he's right. We can't underestimate them, but at the same time, we've just bounced back from a fairly unfair defeat to Chelsea by getting the win at Leeds. It wasn't pretty, but we got the win in the end.
Yeah.
Are Leicester going to be a problem if we're not careful? Absolutely. Maddison, Patson Daka, Vardy, we know the players they've got that can hurt us. But having said that, they're conceding goals left, right, and centre, bleeding goals, if anything. Doesn't mean it's going to be an easy game. No game in the Prem is easy. I mean, look at Brentford at home. Most people had us to beat them, and they rightfully got an equaliser where we just completely switched off. So I know what you're saying, Hanif, and I 100% understand where you're coming from. But at the same time, we have to stop being negative and think, oh, my God, they might be getting back into form. Watch, they'll turn it on when they play us and the rest of it. That's been our mentality for God knows how long. And look, I understand what you're saying, because a lot of people in 17-18, when we beat, ironically, Chelsea at Selhurst Park, everybody said, Chelsea will slap Palace, will beat them 2-1. So I know what you're saying, Hanif. So don't think for a second I don't see Leicester as a threat. They have players that we know for a fact can turn it on. I mean, who was it? Dewsbury Hall scored that cracking goal against us last year at the King Power. So I know for a fact Leicester can turn it on. But seeing as, we want to be getting points on the board, because we've had a horrible run of fixtures.
We have.
Apart from playing Man United, Chelsea, and Arsenal, they haven't played City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal. We have. So we need to be winning this game. I don't care how we win. It's that we win that bothers me. But I know what you're saying, Hanif, and I do.
I'll tell you what, though, from a Leicester point of view, the second they sell Maddison in January, that's for me accepting relegation.
No, Henry, listen, it depends on the money. Imagine if 60 to 70 million comes in.
Well,
it's very hard to say no to that.
Reinvest it. It's not all about money. It's what you do with the money you get.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean,
if they sell Maddison and don't reinvest that money into players that's going to keep them up.
I do worry about Leicester, to be honest. Yeah. Because if they do go down this season, the repercussions could be really, really bad.
The Los Tielemans, Maddison definitely January or next summer. Some of their youth academy stars in the first team.
I don't think they will go down though. I think what will happen is Brendan Rodgers will get a few more games, then they'll sack him, and then after the World Cup they'll get a new manager. And
could you imagine if Ranieri comes back and keeps him up?
Oh, no chance.
Right. Before we continue for the rest, we've been on for about an hour and 12. We're going to give everybody a chance to shout themselves out. So we'll start with the one and only, Hanif.
Yeah, big up to everyone. Eagle-Eyed Football, everyone. You know where it is. Thank you so much. You can catch me on whoever's podcast is willing to have me. My opinions are reckless. Sometimes I speak sense. Sometimes I'm absolutely on one. But regardless, I know a little bit about football. So thank you very much. And, you can find me on Eagle-Eyed Football, Munzi Talks. Who else is willing to put up with me? I can't remember. Not much, to be fair. But I'm also on Instagram, 532_pod, and big up to the panel as well. Thank you, Nate.
No worries, mate. Next up.
Yeah, my Facebook is Henry CPFC Bilham. If you want to add me, feel free. You can also find me on Instagram, just Henry Bilham, and likewise, that's what my YouTube channel is called. I do actually have some plans to upload on it. There'll be some Palace-related content, some videos, maybe from Selhurst Park at the crowd and stuff. So
you should do some matchday vlogs, Henry.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great idea. So it would mean a lot to me, if I get some subscribers. So it's all good. That's all good.
And of course, the one and only Doncaster Rovers fan that anybody's heard of, but big up to the Donny Massive every time. Ciao. Tell them where they can find you, my friend.
You can find me on Instagram at Challoner Official, Twitter Aaron_Challoner, Facebook Aaron Challoner, Snapchat Coaster_Channel19. Also, what would be a really big help to me, and I know the club as well, please do go follow the club that I work for. I am the media manager and part-time scout and recruiter for Sheffield City Football Club. We're an up-and-coming club. We started in 2020 during the coronavirus lockdown. So please do go and follow Sheffield City on all the socials. They're on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on Twitter, they're on Facebook. Got development team, reserves team, women's team. We've got under 18s and under 21s coming next season. So got some really exciting stuff coming next year. We've got really big ambitions to get into the Football League over the next 10 years. And my YouTube channel is going to sort of turn into my journey in football and how we sort of came from step 11 to the Football League over the next 10 years or so. So, it's going to be a really long process. It's going to be a really long journey, but please do stick with my own socials and stick with the Sheffield City socials. And, let's start growing this fan base from around the world, and let's start growing, because we've got stuff coming from all different kinds of places. So let's grow the fan base. The city is green.
And of
Big up
course,
Sheffield City.
it's myself, Eagle-Eyed Nate, always talking ish, always moving mad, kind of talking a little bit reckless, but you know how we do it here on Eagle-Eyed Football. People, this has been Get Amped. Make sure you keep it locked for the match reaction to Palace's win over Leeds tomorrow. And with that, we'll see you later on. Take care.